Pogonophobia, fear of beard. The word pogonophobia is a combination of the Greek word, pogo meaning, beard, and the Latin and Greek word, phobia, meaning, panic or fear. Mothers often warn their daughters to, never trust a man with a beard or facial hair unless he is Santa Claus. In the United States, there has not been a president with a beard since the 1800s. The fear of beard or facial hair on other people can cause a great deal of anxiety to a pogonophobia. This can severely affect her health and mental well-being. This phobia is known to affect thousands of people worldwide. Causes of pogonophobia. Like any phobia, pogonophobia can stem from any number of things. It can come from a traumatic experience with a bearded person. People may not like how much of the person's face is hidden behind the beard, or like many other phobias, have no clear reason behind it. The levels of pogonophobia are like any other phobia, they will be different for each individual. For example, I am comfortable looking at pictures of people with a beard, and talking to them, but I can't stand too close and I become very uncomfortable when they attempt to make physical contact with me. And before I go on to the symptoms, I have to stress that this is nothing personal, it's not rudeness, I don't think you're going to hurt me or that you are a bad person because you have a beard. I just have a weird phobia that means through no fault of mine or yours, I am a little bit afraid. So please don't mistake my phobia for rudeness. If you're cool, I'm cool. Symptoms. The symptoms of pogonophobia are very similar to other specific phobias and will often include panic attacks, inability to relax, problems concentrating, being quick-tempered, feelings of dizziness, prickly sensations like pins and needles, palpitations, aches and pains, fatigue, dry and sticky mouth, sweating excessively, breathlessness, migraines and headaches. Pogonophobia symptoms are generally automatic and uncontrollable and can seem to take over a person's thoughts, which frequently leads to extreme measures being taken to avoid the feared object or situation, what are known as safety or avoidance behaviors. Unfortunately, for the sufferer, these safety behaviors have a paradoxical effect and reinforce the phobia rather than solve it. Pogonophobia may be the result of negative emotional experiences that can be either directly or indirectly linked to the object or situational fear. Over time, the symptoms often become normalized and accepted as limiting beliefs in that person's life. I've learned to live with it. In just as many cases, pogonophobia may have become worse over time as more and more sophisticated safety behaviors and routines are developed. The good news is that the vast majority of people who suffer from pogonophobia will find a course of psychological therapy helps enormously. Treatment. Transform Psychology can offer a range of different psychological treatments for pogonophobia, including both cognitive, thinking-based talking therapies as well as therapies based on emotional content such as EMDR and analytical therapy. We also offer psychodynamic approaches to therapy where much more emphasis is placed on the relationship between the therapist and client as the fundamental vehicle for change. Cognitive therapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) and the Changing Limiting Beliefs (CLB) program tend to regard the symptoms of pogonophobia as being due to unhelpful thinking styles or patterns of thinking that directly create the feelings of anxiety and stress when encountering the phobic object or situation. These types of therapy are often referred to as brief or directive therapies and tend to focus on the thinking that is occurring now, rather than as the result of experience. This relationship between thinking, cognition, and feelings, behavior, is the central pillar of these types of therapy and is supported by a substantial body of scientific evidence. Psychodynamic therapies such as psychoanalysis are fundamentally different from the cognitive approaches as they consider that events and influences experienced in the earlier formative lives of the person can cause, or at least predispose, a person to suffer in a specific way in later life. The aim of psychodynamic therapy is to help a person to explore, understand, and resolve these causative issues following the doctrine of cause and effect. In these types of therapy, the relationship between the therapist and client is considered as an important factor in the solution to the problems.